Welcome to week 9 of the class, and this is on collecting and evaluating evidence. If you're a hybrid student, this will be a face-to-face week, and so you don't need to worry about doing this and submitting it. You'll do this as an in-class activity, as a portion of your class time. For those of you who are online students, let me walk you through a little of this. Again, there's always the unit outcomes, as well as the assignment description. What you're going to be doing is some very minor mock data gathering type information. This is just to see kind of how quantitative and qualitative work differently. So again, there's the hybrid students do this face-to-face, but for those of you who are doing this, you're going to do a small quantitative and a small qualitative study. This isn't something that involves IRBs, this is just a very mini mock type thing. What you're going to do, and these don't have to be anything related to nursing, this doesn't have to be anything related to healthcare at all. It can literally be any question. So for the example, on the quantitative one, which is again where you're collecting numbers, you can do a questionnaire that has at least 10 data points. That doesn't mean it has to have 10 separate questions. It could be something as simple as, here's an example of which of the following kinds of music do you listen to when you study? Jazz, classical, country, metal. If you had 10 different options there, then you could record and see which people would listen to. You could also reframe the question of which are you the most likely to listen to, where they would choose one, or the way it's worded right now, they could choose more than one. Either way, you're just sharing the raw data results of when you asked people these questions, how many results did you get for each category. It's just a way to show the raw data of how you collect a quantitative number. How do you number the information that you're getting? So if you look down here at this grid, you'll notice you need to put your question at the top. And then down here, instead of the numbers option 1, option 2, option 3, you'll put the actual options like jazz, blues, country, classical, for the example I had given, or for whatever example or whatever question you choose, put the options here and then just put the number of people down below. You'll also put a summary of the overall findings. What was the most popular or least popular? Just a little sum up. What were some of the limitations? Did it turn out that maybe a different wording of the question could have been better? That maybe you would have done better if you could have asked a wider variety of people. Maybe, for example, you have a question about where would you like to go on a vacation, and you have some options listed out, and you ask your family, as the people who are right around you for many of these, but it turns out that your family already has a vacation planned. And so they're all staying the same place that you happen to be going soon. That could be a limitation. That could definitely skew your data. Also, what changes would you make if you were doing this again? Would you change the wording some? Would you find a different way of tracking that data? So that's what you do for the quantitative. Now for the qualitative, you're going to create 1 or 2 interview-style questions on a unified theme. These are open-ended. These aren't yes or no. But you only need to interview 2 to 4 people in this one, so it doesn't take quite as long as far as finding numbers of people, but you're digging deeper. Qualitative is about that lived experience and finding out more. So that can be things like, tell me about your worst first date, and then hearing what the people say about that experience. I encourage you to think of something that's not going to be really heavy. I wouldn't ask people about the worst day of their life. For example, something that's going to trigger some horrible, deep emotions. But it can be things like, what would your perfect day be? If you could choose anything to do for a day, what would it be? And then in that, part of the follow-up is asking why. So let's say that I ask, if you could do anything for a day, what would you do? And you say, I would go to the beach. That's great, but that's kind of a closed-off thing. That's where that why comes in. So why would you go to the beach? Is it because you like the weather, the sound of the waves? And you don't give the options for prompting, but you're digging into why that person has chosen that option. So you're going to write your question right here, and you can put the people's responses here. What you're doing is you're looking for overall themes. So let's say that you chose the vacation spot, and you were asking people, like, if you could choose any place in the world to go on vacation, where would you go and why? And let's say that one person says that they would go to Disneyland, and another person says that they would choose to go to Epcot. Another person chooses camping, and another person chooses sailing someplace off the coast. If it turns out in the why that all of them would choose those as ways to spend time with their family, then even though they chose different locations, the theme for why they've chosen that may emerge the same. It doesn't have to be the same for every single person you interview, but you're looking for the theme that kind of stands out. Is it that they'd be looking for a place that they can spend time with family? Is it looking for a place where they can get away from all people and hide? Is it looking for a place where they can do absolutely nothing? Is it a place where they get to really enjoy the outdoors? Look and see what themes you can identify that are the same among the people that you have interviewed. Again, you can put the limitations, such as did some people kind of veer off and not really understand the question you were asking? Maybe there could have been a different wording, and that also goes into the changes you'd possibly make if you do it again. So you just need to submit this grid filled out. If you look at the bottom, there's the information done in the rubric to kind of tell you what and where. You need to make sure you have addressed to get your points. So you can find a template in the module. Make sure you fill that out. Ask people. I understand that it's easy for people to try to fake this. But I would say that's possibly selling yourself short on the experience. And so it doesn't take long. You can phone a friend. You can ask random folks wherever you are to really help you understand the difference between those two types of study. And so understanding those two will help you as you move forward in the semester. And so I look forward to seeing your responses. If you have any questions, please reach out.